Hello, my name's Nathaniel, and welcome to the pilot episode of Mostly Edited. In this podcast, I get together with different sets of friends each episode, and we ask odd hypothetical questions to see what kinds of interesting discussions flow from them. Today, I am joined by my good friends, Nate.
Oh no, the Gulf of Mexico has been destroyed by this terrible pizza spill.
This is a penguin just like flopping around in pizza. Oh no. Okay, sorry.
And Caleb.
Wait, can you hear this? That's my eye.
They've known each other since childhood and were roommates of mine at different times over the years. During today's episode, listen for the special Foley Work with Nate sections, where I've taken random sounds Nate made during pre-show recording and interspersed them throughout the discussions. Have a guess to see if you can figure out what they are, and I'll tell you at the end so you can see if you were right. With that, here's the first sound, followed closely by the first question. So, if Thor placed Mjulnir in an elevator that was sentient but not worthy, and sent the elevator up, would the elevator still actually be able to go up?
Yes.
Yes?
Wait, it's a sentient elevator?
Yes, the elevator's sentient, but
it
it's not
organic?
worthy. That's an interesting question. What do we think? Do you think an organic sentient elevator?
No, I've never been
Could
in
be.
an organic elevator. It's not a real thing.
I don't know, it's a sentient elevator. That's not a real thing either. Mjolnir isn't a real thing.
What would an organic elevator look like?
I don't know.
I'm picturing like a lung that you step into.
That's
and
nasty.
Perhaps there's a box inside of the organic elevator that you step into, which protects you from the organic bit.
Okay, I'm sorry I raised this question. That's nasty. Let's move off that.
Okay, so what do you think? You know, Vision was able to lift the hammer. Obviously, apparently, he was worthy. I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe
Gravity
you guys haven't
has an
seen that,
effect
but-
on the hammer, right? So let's say
Yes.
the elevator's at the top of a building and it moves down.
Mhm.
Okay? In that case, you don't have the elevator moving the hammer, you have gravity moving it. So I would say the
Well-
elevator would be able to move down, but not up.
Well, no, because you do have, like, if you rest the hammer on a table, then it doesn't move. But the table is counteracting the effect of gravity, so it is actually exerting a force on the hammer. So even though the hammer's not moving, the table is
But it's
moving
not a
it.
sentient table.
No, but it is moving the hammer. So, like, there's
No,
lots
it's
of...
exerting force on the hammer, but it's not moving it.
Whatever, you know what I mean. Like, the Earth is spinning, so I don't know.
Is the Earth sentient?
Wow.
Is the Earth worthy?
Because the Earth is moving the hammer.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there are lots of other things that move the hammer that aren't necessarily, quote-unquote, worthy, right?
So it's basically only humans that can't move the hammer.
Yeah, so maybe you do have to be sentient to, like, be included. But,
Yes, which is that's why I decided to include the caveat of the elevator being sentient. It was an interesting thing, actually, in the Avengers movie. I believe Tony Stark and what's his face with the shield,
Captain America?
Steve Rogers, Captain America. Yes, I believe they were discussing the question actually of whether or not an elevator, you know, if you put it in an elevator and hit the up button, it would go up, but the elevator's not worthy, right? You know, as they were
Right, yeah.
after they had tried to lift the hammer and couldn't.
So, like, if Tony Stark got, like, an empty Iron Man suit, right? Where he's not in it, it's just an empty Iron Man suit. Could the suit go and pick up the hammer?
That's another very good question. Yeah, because I mean, it's being run by an AI, right?
Yeah.
Which one could theoretically say is pretty darn sentient. I mean, Jarvis
Right.
became Vision, and then you have Lady Jarvis, whatever her name is,
Yeah.
Susan or something. I don't know.
I'm not up to date.
I
on
haven't
the
watched any Marvel movies in so long. Yeah, me and Caleb, we got no idea what's going on.
I am up to date on most of the movies, and I kind of have no idea what's going on. So you know.
My final answer is the elevator could move the hammer down, but not up.
I think that's dumb.
Well, do you think that somebody could lower the hammer down like a distance, right? If they grabbed the hammer and something was removed from underneath it, what do you think would happen there?
Well, it wouldn't just float there.
No, it wouldn't float there. But do you think it would? Do you think they'd be able to lower it down? Because that's what the elevator is doing, right? The elevator is lowering something down. It's not dropping it. It's not like the elevator hits terminal velocity, because that would be unhelpful for getting from floor to floor, generally speaking.
The terminal elevator.
So like if you got Mjulnir on top of like a skyscraper or some shit, right? Sorry, language. If you got Mjulnir on top of a skyscraper or something, right? And you like tied a rope to the handle and then put the rope to a crane and then demoed the building like at an angle, right? So that it swings like a pendulum. Like would Mjulnir just swing, right? And then you could like basically Spider-Man Mjulnir on all the cranes and you could move it that way. Or would it just be like, no, and it wouldn't do anything?
Would it swing to the bottom of the arc and then just stop?
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Mjulnirs, right? As an actual hammer, you know, you take away the not worthy thing. As an actual hammer, it's not particularly heavy. Like, it's big, it's heavy. Don't get me wrong. I probably couldn't swing it effectively. But
Well, I mean, what's it made out of? It's probably just like plaster, and then they just paint it to make it look like metal. So it's probably not all that heavy.
yes, the prop is probably not particularly heavy. But the, quote, reality of Mjulnir. I mean, it's supposed to be, supposedly, the weight of Mjulnir is, like, equivalent to some sort of black hole.
Oh, sure. That makes
See,
sense.
that's what I thought.
With its not worthiness. Because I believe you have a moment where Hulk tries to pick it up. Again, you guys might not be up on the movies, but the Hulk tries to pick it up. And he, like, grabs it and starts pulling and is, like, smashing the concrete underneath him because it's exerting so much force against his pull. But the hammer itself doesn't exert that same gravitational force on the concrete as it's sitting there.
Right.
So it's like, when he sets it down, it's like locked in space.
No, it's more that the gravitational effect is different than the anti-lifting effect. You grab it, and suddenly, and you're forced to set it down, I think would maybe be a better way of putting it. This is
I don't
off the top
know
of my
about
head.
that.
Caleb's he's just like looking at me like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my original final answer. The elevator could lower it down, but it wouldn't be able to lift it up.
Sure.
Okay. What do you think, Nate?
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
You don't know?
No.
You answered pretty quick right at the beginning. You're like, yes. Have you changed your tune?
I don't know. I don't know the answers.
What do you think for your own question?
Well, I'm a little bit in the same boat as Nate, except I'm still a little bit stuck in how the systems of this elevator would work because, again, I hadn't given this question a whole lot of thought either, despite the fact that it's one that I came up with to ask. Really, I've been saving all thought of it for this podcast. So, but I feel like your answer, Caleb, might be the closest to whatever the
it!
Why?
But, well, I mean, neither of us have really given any actual definite answers. But
Right.
I feel like it wouldn't, like the whole it wouldn't be able to go up thing. That makes total sense. But I don't know how I feel about it being able to lower it down.
Well,
At like the constant elevator type of speed.
what if, okay, so if the elevator had a trap door at the bottom or whatever, or if the bottom of the elevator fell out suddenly, would the hammer float there in space or would it fall down?
It would fall down.
Okay, so if the elevator moves down, it's not exerting any force on the hammer. Okay? Because the hammer just moves into space and the floor just moves out from under it. Which means the hammer would fall down to the elevator floor. Then the elevator would go down and it would just fall at the same rate the elevator moved out from under it.
And you know what? You've also reminded me of something. I believe at one point Thor set the hammer down on somebody's chest just to hold them in place. And it didn't crush them. But they couldn't move it up. So okay. We'll go with that. That's a good good job, Caleb. You have solved
Do I get
the
points?
greatest mystery of the universe. Yes, you get 27.82 points.
It's so arbitrary.
points don't matter.
Yes. There's no point system.
Still more points than you have, so.
All right, Caleb, you said that you...
I do have a
question?
This is stolen straight off our internet. What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? It's not really a hypothetical.
Well, there are already sports that have a mandatory amount of alcohol.
Beer pong.
Like bowling and curling. like curling, like legit. Like that's what you do, right? You drink and you chuck a rock across some ice.
So let's imagine...
Have you ever done curling before, Nate?
Yeah. I did curling with a Canadian. So I didn't
Wait. So you pushed the Canadian down the ice?
No. No. So like, there are a couple people at work who do curling, and yeah, you drink. You just drink when you go curling.
I think it's saying, so like if you're watching the Olympics,
Right.
the Olympic athletes have to have a specific amount of alcohol before the competition begins.
Right. Bowling and curling. Okay, well, like, so you want to add inebriation to a sport.
Yes.
Well, obviously, I think we got to rule out like luge or skeleton run because that's not a great combination.
What's the one where you like ski and then shoot and then ski?
A decathlon.
That should also be ruled out.
Yeah, guns
Yes.
automatically don't drink and shoot.
What about javelins, though?
No,
That would be.
no.
I would watch that.
I don't think you can do. I think most of the winter sports are out because
Javelin
there
is
are,
in winter sports.
Like, I know, I'm just saying because like figure skating, you have blades, so that's not good. Skiing, snowboarding, like that's way too dangerous. Obviously, like skeleton run and the luge, that's already been mentioned. Like, so I think most of the winter sports are just like automatically not gonna happen. I think speed walking from the Summer Olympics would be fantastic. I think that's a great one.
This is not a real thing, is it?
No, yeah, speed walking. It's in the Olympics.
It is.
Speed walking is an Olympic sport?
Yeah.
Do they give medals?
And there are rules to speed walking about like you always have to have one foot in contact with the ground.
Yeah.
So like when you're running, you know there are moments where both feet are off
Yeah.
the ground. So speed walking, you have to have contact. So I think what would be really funny because you have refs who like walk along with these guys and are like, oh, there's you know. So like they're like watching to make sure your feet are on the ground. Because that'd be great. Because then you're drunk. So obviously both your feet are on the ground all the time. But like if for some miracle reason you get both your feet off the ground while just totally wasted, and the ref is like, you broke the rules. Like you're gonna get in a fight with the ref. It's gonna be great. That's way more entertaining. Because then you just have a bunch of drunk speedwalkers like fighting with the ref, fighting with each other, and trying to get like 100 yards down the course, and it takes them like half an hour to go 5 feet. I think that'd be brilliant.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. Speed walking is great there. I was gonna say I just thought of a sport where it might already be almost mandatory, not quite mandatory, but hockey.
Yeah, hockey. But again, that's really dangerous because hockey players.
Yes, it is really
hold
dangerous.
on.
But
Beach volleyball.
how many? Beach volleyball.
That would be fantastic.
Drunk people in the sand.
Yeah,
What could possibly go
trying
wrong?
to get a ball over a net. It's great. See, like this is the thing. Most of the summer sports would get better if you were drunk. Like obviously, track and field, you don't want to do that because that's again, there's like speed and spikes involved, and that's not great.
Speed and
But,
spikes.
like sand.
Or heavy.
Yeah.
arms.
Sand is pretty soft. Speed walking, you're not even moving, so you're fine. Swimming would not be good.
No.
Couldn't do anything in the pool. The water polo would be really funny to watch drunk. If there wasn't like a risk of people drowning.
What about the rowing one, where they're all in the
Oh,
canoes?
crew? Yeah, rowing would be good.
Yeah.
Can you try to imagine synchronized rowing?
The thing is, like, because those guys go really quick. So
Not when they're drunk.
If they're drunk, they might not ever get up that speed, so they might actually be relatively safe.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
if they flipped it, that wouldn't be great. It would be really funny to
I'm
watch.
in life jackets.
It would be really funny
Yeah.
though to watch a bunch of drunk people try to row a boat,
Yeah.
like in sync. That would be pretty good.
What about synchronized diving?
That's dangerous again.
Yeah, but okay, that's like where you could a lifeguard could jump in and pull you out.
No, have
and-
them dive into a foam pit. Like But okay,
Something to remember too is we're talking about a mandatory amount of alcohol, a certain amount of inebriation, right? Like when the MythBusters do all their tests and whatever, they give you a certain amount of alcohol to intake based on your body weight, so that you get inebriated enough, but not like super plaster face drunk.
Right. Well, diving I think is dangerous because I've known people who have done diving for years and stuff, and some of the stories is actually kind of scary because like they'll be doing a rather complicated dive or something, and someone will hit their head or something on the diving board. Some of these things are really complex, and when you're coming past the diving board again, you can like knock yourself out on your way into the pool, which is super dangerous. So like that's one where I'd be like, yes, that'd be funny, but I think there might be too much risk.
I think the original question was which one would be the funniest, not which would be the safest.
Oh, speed walking is my answer then for sure. But beach volleyball is a close second. Like co-ed beach volleyball, like that'd be amazing.
Balance beam.
That's not an Olympic sport. I don't know
Yes.
what is not an Olympic
Yeah,
sport.
you have to add it, but it'd be because beach volleyball is a sport. But then you just have mixed beach volleyball.
Okay.
So you have guys and girls.
No, but balance beam?
Oh, balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
totally
part of
Olympic sport.
gymnastics. Yeah. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because you basically just be like, your whole routine is basically you standing there with your arms out, like trying to not fall off the beam. Like it turns into like, instead of like who can do like the coolest like flips and handsprings and all that stuff on a beam, it's basically who can stand on the beam the longest. Like,
Yep.
It's literally just balancing. It's literally who can balance the longest. That'd be great.
I do think speed walking is probably the best answer though.
Yeah. I wonder if I could be an Olympic speed walker.
Oh, for sure. You'd be good at it.
All the practice at Hornbachers.
Yeah. Well, the
Right.
thing is, you gotta. I almost stood up to start showing Caleb this, but that's not going to translate well, is it? So yeah, when you watch these guys, it's really interesting because they're. It looks like they're kind of like sashaying about, like.
What you should do is you should get up and show Caleb,
Like
and then
they're-
Caleb should try to describe it.
Okay,
they're-
I'm very good with words.
I don't have enough room to. I don't think to do this.
Make
But
it work.
the way they're doing it, so they want to lengthen their stride as far as possible, right?
Okay, so he's taken a step and then slid backwards halfway.
But you don't want to. Jeez. But you don't want to. So you want to take as big a step as possible, but you
Those
can't
were
have,
small steps.
But you can't have your feet leave the ground. So what they end up doing is they kind of drop their hips down. So this hip comes up and that one goes down, right? To kind of let you lengthen your stride while keeping both feet on the ground.
Okay, so for you viewers out there, what he's done just now is called a lunge.
So what you end up with is this kind of really weird action that looks like that.
That is too PG-13 to describe.
know.
I don't know
It
what you
looks-
just
it
did.
It looks ridiculous. It looks absolutely ridiculous. So they're moving their hips back and forth quite dramatically and drastically to try to get as big a step as they can while keeping at least part of one foot on the ground at all times.
Okay, so to adequately describe what just happened here, I want you to imagine that Shakira is walking away from you. Now I want you to imagine that Shakira is a 130-pound, 6-foot man.
Yes, and that is exactly what speed walking looks like.
Yep.
Which is
Yep.
why I think you'd be great at it.
Well played, sir. All right. All right.
Is it because Caleb's hips don't lie?
No, like the best part of speed walking, I'm not even gonna lie. The best part of speed walking isn't watching them speed walk. It's watching the NBC presenters trying to tell people like what's going on, and describe speed walking to people who are like, "This is dumb. Why is this on TV?"
Well, it's like ping pong's an Olympic sport.
Yeah, I saw a guy play ping pong with his head. That was pretty good. There's a sport in I don't know where it is. It's like Mongolia area of Asia where it's basically ping pong with a soccer ball with your head. It's awesome.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Like, there are some really cool sports out there that I think should be added to the Olympics.
I feel
'Cause
like that
it'd
wouldn't
be
be
very
great for people with glasses.
Right?
Automatic disadvantage because you don't really want to be whacking your head on a ball over and over again with glasses on your face or with, contacts attached to your eyeballs.
Right.
Maybe they stick better than I think they do, but
Caleb's on his phone now.
No, I was looking something up. I was gonna say I cannot pronounce it, but the Aztec
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
sport.
like from Road to El Dorado.
No, from the Aztec
Oh.
Empire, historically.
You're talking about the ball court.
Yes,
Yeah.
the ball game, and then the ones where they're on the pole and like swing out and
Oh.
that thing.
Yeah.
It's part of it. But yeah, with the ball game where the winning team gets given up as a sacrifice to the gods.
That would be pretty good drunk. That'd be fantastic. All right, we're gonna sacrifice you now. Just like, come here.
Well, no, I'm just saying the game itself, not the sacrifice.
Well, you included the sacrifice at the end.
Well,
Yeah.
you gave the sacrifice because that's what most people know the game by.
Right.
I'm not saying that we should have an Olympic sacrifice.
Well, it'd be a drunken Olympic sacrifice. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Human sacrifice, yeah, you don't want to do that. But if it's
No.
people like wasted, that's pretty funny.
All right, I guess.
Yeah, we'll just edit that part out. It'll be fine.
Have you ever seen Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You've been outvoted. It
It
has Bryan Cranston
Yeah,
plays
I know.
the.
I know
yeah,
the show.
okay.
I know the show. Yeah.
Well, there was an episode where Malcolm's dad got into speed walking. Like, really into speed walking. Now, I didn't watch this show a lot, but some friends of mine as a kid would watch it, and I'd see it when I was over at their house sometimes. And this episode was great because there was this... Malcolm's dad got really good at it, and he was one of the fastest people, and he had this stupid suit, which was just... I don't know. It looked like he was wearing some sort of alien getup, to maximize aerodynamics and whatever for speed walking, in which you really don't go very fast, and aerodynamics honestly doesn't come into play very much. But there was this one guy who he couldn't beat this guy. This guy was always just that little bit faster than him, and so he would obsess over it, and he like recorded him and would watch other recordings of him doing his speed walking stuff, and this guy also had the same totally ridiculous getup that he would wear. And he ends up, he's going through this video, and he's like watching his footwork, this guy's footwork, to try to figure out what's his trick. How is it that he's doing so well at speed walking, and etc. Trying to learn to get better and best him. And then he randomly pauses it on a frame where the guy has both feet in the air, and he discovers that every like third or fifth or whatever step, this guy's doing a little skip, just to to get that little bit of extra momentum and distance where both of his feet are off the ground. Then he goes and basically shames him in front of the whole speed walking community that they have in their town, and the guy gets like exiled or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but
That's actually that is part of speed walking, is taking like those little tiny steps where your feet are just off the ground just barely when the ref isn't looking. Mm-hmm. Like that's legitimately part of the sport, is cheating.
But that's all that I could think of while you were talking about the speed walking thing, was that episode with the absolutely here. Let me see if I can find a picture quickly of it.
I showed Nate one already.
Of the ridiculous getup?
Yes. Yep. With
Yes.
the helmet.
Yep. Yeah, the helmet that goes
pretty
swooping
fantastic.
back. Yeah. Nate. Have you had a chance to come up with something?
Oh shoot, no, I was distracted by Olympic speed walking. I've just been thinking about that for like however long we were talking about that. For like 10 minutes. No, I don't have any. I don't have any. I'm sitting. I'm trying to think of something. I can't really think of anything.
All right, I'll fill in for Nate here.
Wait, I have a non-hypothetical question.
Okay.
Is it okay if I ask that?
Is that your question?
No, I was wondering what you guys have been playing recently. I'm going to turn this into a gaming podcast for like 20 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Let's keep going with your hypothetical. This is your show.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No. No, a hot dog is a hot dog. This is the dumbest thing in the world.
Let me present to you an alternate idea. A hot dog is a taco.
It's okay. Yeah, see, it's close to a taco, but it's not. It's a hot dog. That's what
I think it's closer to a sandwich.
Okay. So there are two schools of thought on this. One is the sandwich debate is stupid and dumb, and why are we having it? And the other is, let's find someone on the opposite end of the planet, put two pieces of toast on the ground, and be like, boom, Earth sandwich. I can understand the latter. I can understand it because that's fun. Just being like, anything in between two slices of bread is a sandwich. Let's go. That's an awesome attitude. I applaud you. That seems like a lot of fun. You're doing life right. But anything between two pieces of bread isn't a sandwich. It just isn't. There are rules. So like in a practical sense, you just gotta acknowledge that and just move on.
Can you elaborate on the sandwich rules?
Man, I don't know. I'm not a sandwich expert.
Well, you're the one bringing up the sandwich rules.
I just know there are rules. There are rules to these things. There are always rules to these things.
Hey Siri, define sandwich.
As a noun, it means an item of food consisting of two pieces of bread with meat, cheese, or other filling between them, eaten as a light meal. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes.
As a verb, it means insert or squeeze someone or something between two other people or things, typically in a restricted space or so as to be uncomfortable.
So two pieces of meat. Two pieces of meat between.
No, it's one piece of meat and 2 pieces of bread.
She said mate.
Yeah, but it was one piece of meat.
So if you're my mate, and then I put you between a piece of bread.
A piece of bread. You've just said a piece of bread.
I don't know.
I'd like to point out that a hot dog is a piece of meat between a piece of bread.
No, she said 2 pieces of bread, and you got meat, cheese, or something.
So
else.
sandwich must have 2 individual pieces of bread.
Basically, it's got to be edible.
So, well, but there's another definition. The second definition, it's like, when you've sandwiched something between something, right? You sandwich that shed between 2 buildings. Yeah, you sandwich your mate between 2 other mates in the back seat.
That's my point. Like, I understand the fun that you can have with, like, just not caring about definitions or any of that. Because, like, that's fun and I do that. But we have a definition. So when people ask, like, is this a sandwich? Like, okay, that's great if you're coming at it from an area where you're ignoring the definition, but there is a definition. So, like, if you ask what is a sandwich, like, there's your definition, and you move on with your life. A hot dog is a hot dog.
Let me ask you a bit of a counter question then.
All right.
So, with the definition of a sandwich involving 2 pieces of bread, yes, because that's the main thing here, right?
Right.
Right. So, if you took a hot dog, like broke it in half, folded it over, and stuck it in between 2 pieces of bread, you'd have a hot dog sandwich, right?
I mean, it's you just broke a hot dog.
Yeah, but you're putting it between 2 pieces of bread. You'd have a hot dog sandwich, right?
That's a terrible thing to do to a hot dog. You should eat the hot dog.
But you're going to eat it.
Man, I don't know. Like, cause I don't know.
Well, would that fit within the definition though, right? It's a piece of meat that you have just stuck between 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah, because that does fit the definition, obviously, right?
It's a sausage sandwich in effect. But
yeah,
so
you gotta determine whether or not a hot dog is meat.
Or if a hot dog is the compilation of a
Sadness.
hot dog wiener and a hot dog bun put together.
But like, yeah, if like, let's just pretend a hot dog is meat, because
Yeah,
yes,
right.
By the
Definitional
American
purposes.
definition,
But-
it is.
If it's 10% meat, it's meat.
So,
If it's 1% meat, it's
then,
meat.
yeah,
So
that,
okay,
that clearly fits the definition. So you'd have to
So-
call it a sandwich.
if you take though, right, you put peanut butter on one slice of bread, you put jelly in another, you stick it together, you got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what if you take your one slice of bread, you spread peanut butter on one half of it, and jelly on the other half, and then fold it over? Is that
Right.
still a sandwich?
No, then you have a peanut butter and jelly hot dog.
Oh snap! Here's my thing. Like, I feel like you know the answer to this.
Who, me?
Yeah, I feel like pretty much everyone knows the answer. That's my problem with this type of question. It's like, you can have a good time, that's fine, but like, you know what the answer is. Come on. So
Well, but I'm interested in how we're defining this though, like as an actual thing, right? If you take and fold a piece of bread in half, which is effectively what a hot dog bun is,
right.
are you still considering that thing to be a sandwich? Or is it some sort of like weird calzone?
Oh, calzones are awesome. We should get calzones.
Calzones are awesome.
calzones.
Is there a place we can get calzones?
I'm sure there is.
All right.
We're totally sidetracked now.
Oh,
We're
wait,
planning
no.
lunch.
I can make. Hang on.
Dude, we can make calzones.
I think I might have stuff for calzones.
Nate is now in
Nate
the
has
freezer.
Searching for calzone materials.
I might have stuff for calzones.
All right.
Cool.
If you make calzones, I'll slip you some cash.
No, just eat it and then we're good.
Well, I have an hour and 24 minutes of audio to sort through now, so this is awesome.
Was that all your questions?
That's not all my questions. No, I have a bunch, but I want to save them for save some for future episodes as well. So
What are you saying?
I figure-
We're not good enough.
Yeah, that's all I heard is we aren't good enough.
That was our audition. We blew it.
Yep.
You don't get any more questions. Take into these other people.
I mean, I wanna be able to figure this out and work with different people and
Well,
see
that
how
is
it
definitely
goes.
confirmation we're not good enough.
No. No, that'll be cool.
No,
That'll be fun.
What
there are a couple-
what we're hearing is that we're not good enough. No, that's not at all. I just want to, get other people.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
I think we should meet.
Anymore.
I think we should meet new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been fun. I'm glad we got to throw this together, and we'll see how it turns out, I guess. This podcast was edited and produced by me. The music is by Quirky Squid. Make sure to check him out on SoundCloud. The artwork is a collaborative work between myself, Piper, and Sinwright. You can find Piper on Twitter and Sinwright on Instagram. If you want to submit your own questions as consideration for future episodes, you can find us on Twitter at mostlyedited or send an email to mostlyedited@gmail.com. All these links will be in the show notes. If you made it to this point, I'm going to assume you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for listening, and if you feel like supporting this and future episodes, make sure to share it with a friend. The Foley work with Nate answers are crinkling a plastic bag, rubbing the skin of an onion, shaking a canister of peanuts, shaking granulated sugar, and lastly, probably spoons. He never actually clarified that one. Let us know how you did.
This big silence part you're editing out, right?
No, just leave it in. Half the people who listen to podcasts, they listen with those silence app things.
Oh, I couldn't do that. The pauses,
Yeah.
the pauses in between people speaking are so telling of certain things about what their their brain process, right?
Right,
It
yeah.
adds so much. This type of pause where there's nothing actually going on, but when there's that pause between words where you're struggling to come up with how to word something, that speaks volumes about something. I don't know. I don't know if I could define it very easily, but
Like that pause where me and Caleb just awkwardly didn't say anything after you finished. The pauses are important. But there are people with apps who that just snips. If there's silence, it just cuts it out, so it just
Yes.
runs it all together. So you don't actually have to edit a podcast anymore, as long as 100% of what you say is what you want in the podcast. You could just record for 4 hours, have 20 minutes of actual sound, and
Right.
people wouldn't notice. Or at least these people wouldn't notice. Other people would be like, what is
What?
this? They'd be a little confused.
Can you guess what this is?